everyone. So today we're going to talk you through our prototyping process for one of our accommodation partners. But I'd also explain the context of booking as well and kind of how we work similar to Rory and I think Ruben earlier. I'll just explain kind of like a little bit about our process of booking. And I'd also, before I launch into like minimum viable pain, which is what I like to call MVPs, I'll also want to introduce myself and kind of explain a little bit about my role. So I'm Melody, I'm a senior UX copywriter in our tech department. I've been working in tech for about 2.5 years. And when I first joined Booking, I actually joined as a junior copywriter, and the first product team that I worked on was a team that was trying to solve problems for our customers in terms of pricing issues. So one of the most like big pain points that we discovered was actually the final price, like people not being clear about the final price that they're going to pay for their accommodation. Now you think that would be really easy for us to solve, but it wasn't. Due to the way that we traditionally built our platform and also the way that we'd, I guess, worked with global tax legislation and all the complexity of like different laws in different countries, it wasn't always clear to guests if there were extra charges included, if they were going to have to pay some sort of fees. And of course, as you can imagine, unexpected charges for customers cause customer service calls. And also a lot of friction between guests and partners. So we spent a lot of time in that team prototyping solutions to kind of fix those issues. And trying to fix those issues for a company at Booking.com can be quite challenging, and here's why. We're one of the leading travel platforms in the world, so we have customers from all over the world. So this means that our customers travel to 147,000 destinations, and they book over 1.5 million room nights with us every day. So that's just to give you the idea of the traffic that we have and the different types of people that we're dealing with on a daily basis. So it's quite a lot, and that scale is also reflected internally. So when it comes to our employees and the people working for our company, we have about 17,500 across 200 offices worldwide. So go figure. In terms of our product teams and our tech department, that's based here in Amsterdam. That's our HQ, if you didn't know. And there are about 200 product teams across tech. So they're working on everything from solving complex user problems to also trying to innovate for the future and think ahead, right? Now, the way we set up as product teams is pretty simple, similar to, I think, what Rory said in terms of moving away from this kind of linear way of doing functions. We actually work in cross-functional teams, so we'll have a product manager, we'll have a UX designer, we'll also have a copywriter, and of course, many, many developers. And we like to work in a very kind of agile way. We have 2-week sprints. We do the whole prioritized backlog and kicking off with a sprint meeting. But we also really, really like to test everything. So we're really, really data-driven. Some of you probably already know that. And we don't really like to build things unless we have very strong indicators to do so. So one of the ways in which we do that is through A/B testing. Similar to what Ruben said, we have a very strong experiment kind of culture at Booking.com. We like to kind of launch things on our users unsuspecting and see how they react to things. But we also like to do our research. So research is really, really important. And as a UXer, that's pretty much a lot of our job. And we have various different methods of doing that. That could be anything from observing a user interacting with our product to actually sending them a survey or a questionnaire or interrupting their flow when they're on our site. And we actually like to work with user researchers. So we actually have dedicated user researchers throughout the department who actually kind of help us choose the appropriate methodology, depending on what the user problem is that we're trying to solve or what the business goal is. And the entire product team is involved in user research. So it's not something that is expected just for the researcher to do or the product manager to do. Everybody's supposed to get hands-on and really understand their topic and understand who they're building for and who they're solving for. Now, we also like to look at data. Previous data, as I said, we're very data-driven, so we want to see what's happened before, what's worked before, what didn't work before, what are other people doing. Of course, we look at industry trends as well. And lastly, but not leastly, we like to speak to people in our local offices, in the markets where we operate. We need to understand local realities. We also need to speak to our customer service people all the time because they get a brunt of a lot of the complex problems get passed through them. And so that means that we end up spending a lot of time, going on research trips, also working in our usability lab in Amsterdam as well. Now, in terms of the kind of importance of research, yes, we've highlighted that, but I think what is really, really important is all the different roles that everybody plays. And I'm going to speak specifically about my role now. So what we do is we speak with the designers, And we try to work together on the flow as a team. So first we try to identify the user problem, define the user problem, and once we've defined that and we start to understand exactly what it is that the problem is, then we say, okay, let's now start working on solutions. And that normally is led by the designer, but the whole team can ideate and give ideas. So it's not just for the UX designer and the UX copywriter to go away in a room and actually say, okay, this is the solution, but we will take feedback and there will be this kind of rough muck-up stage brought back to the team, everyone will kind of chip in, and then we work together on the flow to say, okay, actually this action and this copy actually makes sense together. And the reason why we place such an emphasis on copy is just because we know that bad copy or kind of placeholder copy like lorem ipsum, which isn't real, kind of confuse users during user testing and it throws them off. And user testing isn't cheap. So we want to make sure that we actually use our time efficiently, and we also want to make sure that we get the most out of that session. So what we tend to do is work together on the flow, write real copy, and that way we can actually get feedback on the words if we want to iterate on the design and flow based on what these users tell us during that session. Another reason why we use real copy as well is because we want to make sure that the process is set up in a way that's unbiased. So for example, we want to make sure that we work on the interview script with the researcher and that the researcher understands not only, okay, how do we ask unbiased questions, but also how do we also get the customer to fully understand the prototype and flow. If that was done separately by a researcher and separately by the copywriter, there might be some clash in that interaction there. And also, localization. So we have our site in 43 different languages, which means that we have to write in a way that is easy to localize. And if we weren't doing that as copywriters and someone else was writing that without in mind, they might write something that's not actually translatable or not actually scalable to other countries and cultures and contexts. So I hope that's given you a little bit of context about how we work. And John is going to introduce himself and then talk a little bit about this case study.
Okay. Thank you very much, Melody. Hi, everyone. My name is John Iseghohi. Yeah, most people actually find it difficult to pronounce that name. I am from Lagos, Nigeria. I moved to Amsterdam 12 months ago. Yeah, beautiful city. I thought I would get like, hey, but it's fine. So I actually prepared for this. Yeah, thanks. I prepared for this talk with the speaker notes, but now I can't find my notes, which is fine. So I'm just going to try to engage with you and then make it as practical as possible, because we are actually going to look through one of the case studies, one of the products we've built, and then talk through this, and then eventually I would probably want you to engage with me because I don't have my notes. Cool. So I moved to Amsterdam 12 months ago, and then prior to then, I had worked with 3 different companies and in different industries as a UX designer. Specifically advocating for users, which means I've been designing for a very long time. And then one of the things I've actually learned is actually how to align both the user goal and the business goal to develop or to design a good product. And joining Booking, I discovered that, hey, you need to really be big on data and understand what data means to your design. And so many ideas are coming up with has to really be data driven, and you have to get insights from whatever you're doing and make sure you deliver a good design. So, okay, cool. So I will be talking about WebDirect, but before we actually go deep into this case study to understand how we designed a seamless onboarding experience for new users, I would love to talk to you about what WebDirect is. Like everybody here knows that Booking.com is that platform where you can book an accommodation, going for ski holiday or going for just any kind of accommodation that you're going for, any kind of holiday you're going for. But most people don't know that Booking actually has a team that focuses on building products for partners, meaning accommodation partners, B2B. And then, so WebDirect is actually one of the products that we've built. And then, as you know, as my colleague mentioned, actually, we try to innovate internally also. No, we actually really do innovate internally to be able to make sure that we're building products that our partners would actually want to use. WebDirect is actually one of the products that we've built. And then this actually came up as part of the research that we did. Eventually, building a website or having a website is as easy as anything with Wix, Squarespace, so many platforms for you to just have a website, which means eventually some of our partners might want to, one day decide that, you know what, I want to have my own website and I'm leaving booking.com. I don't want anything to do with booking.com again. So we decided to come up with this product that can actually help them build their websites, their property websites in less than 1 minute. So what is WebDirect? WebDirect is actually a software that helps our partners to connect their already existing information and property information from booking.com and sync this into a website in less than 60 seconds. Very easy, sounds really good, and anybody would want to just jump on it and say, hey, you know what, let me buy this product. Yeah, we built this product, did all the research, everything works really nice from our team. We were excited about it and thinking that everything would just go as planned. But trust me, it didn't work that way. Partners already, they are used to, you know what, I just want to list my property on booking.com and start getting bookings straight up. So getting them to actually set up a website, which means they might have to start doing some form of website management, make sure that content is up to date, even if we've synced all the content from booking.com into this website, content including guest information, availability, cancellation, and all those things. We've already done all that for them, but we still get the problem whereby retention rate with the product was really low, and it wasn't where we actually wanted it to be. Growth rate was not there, and even the experience with the product, because we try to build the product in such a way that it's as lean as possible, minimum viable product as it is, for them to quickly set up their website. But some of these things eventually did not actually deliver on the things we wanted it to deliver on. So we started exploring. We actually went deep into research. You know what? So we've built this product, but so what is the problem? Why are partners complaining? Why can't we get them to actually retain in the product and eventually use it to get their first direct booking? So we dig deep and discovered that partners wanted some form of hand-holding because they're already used to that. So because, once you set up your website on Airbnb or any other OTA, somebody either calls you or send you an email and say, hey, thank you for signing up on booking.com. This is how you need to do, this is what you need to do. And eventually you do those things, then you're already up and going. But for this new product, because it's a small team, the onboarding process was not there. So because they really wanted to move really fast. So they built it, and eventually we discovered that partners actually needed some hand-holding. So we built in an onboarding process into the product, which would help them actually discover the magic moments of the product. So the first step actually, after a new partner actually signed up, meaning the old partner that had already gone through the terrible states, we needed to come up with a fresh new idea to help them into the product. But for new partners now, we built in a 3-step process into the onboarding flow, which means, so once you click on sign up for this product, you say you like the USP because it's quite direct. Your website will be translated in 43 languages up front. You can start receiving payments almost like immediately with 50 currencies on your website immediately. You don't have to get a developer to do all the setup for you. Everything happens like within 1 minute. Good. But now here comes the problem. So we try to explain to them what we've done. Step 1, hey, we've synced all your information from booking.com into this website for you. Step 2, this is a preview of your website, meaning you see your hotel name, you see your property information, you see everything, but there lies a problem. They don't like the preview of the website we give to them. I mean, so you now see where the problem keeps coming. I mean, it's an MVP. Just manage it, but no, they started complaining. And eventually we started getting calls, hey, I paid for this website builder, and eventually, I don't like it, I want to change the fonts, my brand color is red, you're giving me blue. So 50% of the users that came into the product actually got stopped at step 2. So meaning the MVP that what we actually wanted to gain here is actually to increase retention rates, get partners to actually now start telling us what they want, what they really want. So now we know from just building something as simple as this, that partner wants some form of customization. They want some form of, I want my brand to look this way, not this way. So now we know. So we iterated on this first MVP and eventually did another one, which is just for us to do 2 things. So one of the learnings from the first MVP was we noticed most of the partners that actually signed up for this product, they already have a website, but they still want a product, a web builder from booking.com because they just feel it's booking.com. Yes, we want it. So we needed to understand how many of our new customers are coming that they already have a website, and also segment them so we can actually do something interesting with that data, and also introduce website customization in step 2. Initially, we didn't put that. For the first MVP, it was just plain. Now the second MVP, we introduced customization. So customization means that you can select a theme, you can select fonts, you can select color, you can play around, all this really nice feature. Take note, it's an MVP. Take note again, it's a small team, not the entire big tech product team. It's really a small team that is just building this. So you can imagine how we're trying to just learn and just make things as lean as possible and exposing it to millions of users. So customization was introduced. Fine, now nice, they were all happy, keep playing around. So once you give a user the opportunity to play around, they play around really. Eventually we noticed things actually moved the way we wanted. We noticed people were publishing eventually and sharing the URL with their friends. And eventually we can now start recommending what partners that already have a website, what they can do, which is if you have a website already, meaning we now get you to change your DNS so you can point to the one that we created for you and just ditch that other one and start using this, which was the goal. So for the second MVP, this actually went live, and as you know, we learned a lot from this. Good numbers, but yeah, the goal of having a website as an accommodation partner is actually for you to get direct bookings, which is revenue, not just having a website. You really want revenue, but that means you need to do some form of work. You need to write articles, you need to set up SEO, you need to do so many things, you need to do some form of marketing, which we can't do for you. So we still need them to do some work, but we need to educate them about this. So then comes another problem, meaning the first MVP, we were able to solve customization, we were able to show them what they bought. Second MVP, we were able to actually let them customize. Should we go for the third MVP to let them start doing some form of SEO optimization, photos and all that? But we need to check the effort if we actually have a bigger team that will be able to invest time, man hours into that. Then we need to also check, would that be profitable for us, or should we just keep it at this point? Anyways, we actually solved that same problem, but that's a talk for another session. So we moved. Boom. Now I'm just going to show you like a live recording of the second MVP, so you can actually have a look. So it's on here. So I did like a small recording. So now for step 1, as you can see, it's very simple. What's your role at the property? Do you already have a website? So this is actually a live user with this is an audio recording, so you can see. So I'm going to play this, and then you see. Cool. So step 2, eventually, I'll customize your website look and feel. Users actually spend most of the time here. So before we introduced this 3-step process, this never existed. So all they just needed to do was they buy the product, and then they get lost. And just to give you more context about a live in the day of some of our partners, they receive over 80 emails on a daily basis, emails about their accommodation, cancellation, so many emails, not just from booking.com, but from other OTAs. So you can imagine the emails about these particular products will be sitting somewhere in between 100 emails on a daily basis, which means they never get to see this product at the end of the day, because they have information about revenue that they need to take care of. So we decided to remove sending them emails or anything. So once you sign up for the product, we just push you straight into this onboarding process, and then the magic moment, which is this. You see, they just start playing, looking for font that actually aligns with their brand guidelines. But what did we do? We didn't actually have to put in all the fonts in the world here. We wanted to know what fonts are they even interested in. We just have like 50 fonts, and then eventually, if there are no fonts here, maybe we start getting calls that, hey, I noticed you don't have my brand font. Then how many calls did we get about that would now determine if we need to do some form of integration here, which I'm sure everyone knows. Maybe we can integrate Google Font Manager into this, but that would require a lot of effort. Cool. So eventually, you go through that stage, that's 3-step, and then you land into the product. Amazing, right? Really, really simple. Simple product, easy to use, but trust me, whoops.
Quick.
Yep. Good. So, I mean, that's a live recording of the MVP that we built. Cool. Quickly, then we move to main learnings. I mean, like every product that everyone here has built, there are so many things that you must have learned while building your product. Now, we actually learned that most of the partners already had a website, which is true. Because we did our research, we know our partners actually want to have a website, but they have already listing on booking.com. But we want to be the one that will provide the website for them, not Wix, not Squarespace. Just keep them in the ecosystem, which is nice. So they expect everything to work once they click the buy button. Yes, because once you put your listing on booking.com, everything works. Just sit back and relax, start getting your bookings. So, but for this new product, it's not like that. You need to do some form of work. So you can see how, so the partner that we already trained to just enjoy bookings, now we are telling them that, you know what, you need to do some work if you want to enjoy this product. So partners wanted more than just themes, fonts, and color selection. These are the three things we introduced into the MVP, but they wanted more. They wanted, I want to write my articles, I want to do this about, there's a concert happening in somewhere around my property, I want to write about it and post it on my website. But we've not built that into the product yet. But we were able to learn that people want all that, you know. And so many things, but these are just a few that, I was able to put together for this presentation. Cool. And as you know, at booking.com,
we're hiring.
Yay.
So yeah, if you're interested, please go to careers.booking.com. I have to say that. No, I don't. But if you are interested in connecting with John or I, then we have our social media information there, Twitter and LinkedIn, and we'll be around for the rest of the day. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.